Okay, I know some of you clicked on this video just because I asked the question, is the Odyssey woke or dope? Because apparently the internet has already decided that you're not going to see this movie just because Elliot Page is in it, and Lupita Nyong'o, Academy Award-winning Lupita Nyong'o, is Helen of Troy. Well, I've actually seen the movie, so I'm going to tell you right now, you're missing out on one of the most epic movies in years. Look, Elliot Page has a bigger role in this movie than even I was expecting. And honestly, part of me wants to go back and see this movie and see some of you all in there just so I can see your reaction when he is on the screen multiple times. Does Elliot Page being in the movie hurt the movie? No. Does it feel like Christopher Nolan is lecturing to a certain group in the movie? Nope. And again, Lupita Nyong'o, Academy Award winning actress, is she great as Helen of Troy? Yes. But I'm telling you now, The Odyssey is not a nope. The Odyssey is freaking dope. And honestly, it might be in my top 3 Christopher Nolan movies of all time. Recency bias aside, of course. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Nope or Dope Reviews. This is my review of The Odyssey. This is going to be non-spoiler. And as I mentioned, top 3, but this is also my favorite movie of 2026. And Christopher Nolan knew exactly who to bring along with him for this movie. Hoyt van Hoytema, I just really wanted to say his full name, is back as the cinematographer. That's the name of someone that feels like a cinematographer and not someone that works at Target, right? He shoots the absolute hell out of this movie. The landscapes are beautiful, the scale is unbelievable, and this doesn't feel like the actors are standing inside the volume or standing in front of a green screen. We're really at actual beautiful locales. And when you're in the ocean, you feel like you're in a boat with them, not like in Moana where it's fake water, green screen. Apparently people were actually throwing up on the boat, and Christopher Nolan's like, let's keep that. We're not cutting, keep the throwing up in the movie. That's Christopher Nolan committing to cinema. And you got Ludwig Göransson, you know him from Black Panther, Oppenheimer, and right now I gotta say he's the John Williams of our time. His score is amazing. There's times in the movie that the score was pounding on your chest. You could just feel the music, the score deep down inside. And this is a movie about gods and monsters, so there's gonna be CGI in this. I'm gonna break it to you, internet, there's not gonna be a real Cyclops. The Cyclops sequence exceeded all my expectations. I've been waiting to watch this on the big screen for a long time, and it really felt like it was real. It was like a horror show. And a lot of this was shot in a cave where you couldn't see everything that the Cyclops was doing. It was just enough to just freak you the hell out. And the sounds and screams in this were just horrifying. The sound design is just so perfectly done. Bravo to the sound team. The detail of the Cyclops was just incredible. You could see the scales and just the creepy skin just makes your skin crawl. One of my biggest surprises in this movie is how much of the horror genre is embedded into it. Yes, we're dealing with monsters, but I wasn't expecting it in the scene with Cersei. And in our minds, we have this feeling of who Cersei is. We've read it in the book, may have seen photos of who Cersei is, but I just wasn't expecting how they portrayed her in this. It really caught me off guard. It came from left field, and Samantha Morton as Cersei was transfixing to me. Just seeing her on screen, you couldn't keep your eyes off of her. She was just nothing like I expected her to be, and she wasn't on screen very long, but every second she was on it, you just had your eyes on her like, what is she going to do next? Was not expecting what she was going to do. And without spoiling anything, there is a transformation sequence in this movie that is just absolute pure body horror. And for a few minutes there, I felt like I was watching a completely different movie. Am I in this horror movie? But I didn't want to leave it. Honestly, I felt like we could have been in there longer, but this movie's already 2 hours and 45 minutes. They had to cut out some stuff, but Samantha Morton as Cersei is a scene stealer. Give Samantha Morton her own spin-off Cersei horror streaming show. And obviously we have talked about Matt Damon. This might be some of the best work of his career. He completely embodies Odysseus, the physicality, the emotion. You can see on his face how desperate he wants to return home. Although at one point stranded on an island with Charlize Theron's Calypso, and then he has an opportunity to go back home to Anne Hathaway. No one's feeling sorry for you, Odysseus. That's not a bad gig. Anne Hathaway as Penelope is really the emotional heart of this movie. And Tom Holland as Telechamus, didn't want to mess that up again, still has his youthful quality charm to him. And I don't mean that negatively. He's a son waiting for his father to come home while trying to hold everything together and keep these damn suitors away from his mother. Get off of her. Speaking of the suitors, Robert Pattinson. Oh man, I just wanted to jump on that IMAX screen and just slap him through his smug face. You know, Robert Pattinson sometimes can have that smug face. And I mean that in his biggest compliment as possible, because his Antinius was a true villain in this. Some of the issues I had with this movie, now the Odyssey isn't perfect. And my biggest issue is probably the beginning pacing of this. And with any Christopher Nolan movie, you're used to it. Like I mentioned, he does things with time and with non-linear storytelling. Apparently Nolan sees a straight timeline and says, that's boring. So for some of you who might not be used to Christopher Nolan's type movies, at the beginning it just gets you up to speed with some of the other characters where you're just trying to figure out, where is this story going? You don't even see Odysseus, I don't recall, in the first 5 minutes of this movie. It really is Telemachus, it is Anne Hathaway's Penelope. But I love how you get to see their side of it, because they're a huge part of the story as well. It's not just about Odysseus wanting to come home, it's about their family wanting him home and needing him back. But the pacing of this felt a little uneven to me in the first part of it, but once we get into the second act, once we get to see the Cyclops, it's all gas from there. Sometimes you actually need some time to take your breath, but the pacing just begins to pick up. You start to feel the emotion, the urgency, the tension. Odysseus needing to get back home, you feel it. And that's what's one of the greatest strengths of the Odyssey. You just feel everything. In the end of the movie, I felt a little bit exhausted coming out of it, and it was exhausted in a good way. But final verdict, guys, with those minor complaints, the Odyssey is beautiful, it's epic, it's a top 3 Christopher Nolan movie for me. I don't know if it's better than my favorite movie of all time from Christopher Nolan, Inception, but I still have time to watch this multiple times, and I want to see you guys in the theater. I love the raw emotion of this, the heart in this. I love the horror scenes that I just wasn't expecting. The CGI was glorious. It felt real. The Cyclops felt real. Samantha Morton as Circe is just, again, transfixing, and I want to see more of her. I wish I could. This is a once-in-a-decade movie, and only a director like Christopher Nolan can pull this off. So guys, let me know in the comments if you're excited to see the Odyssey in theaters. Let me know if you're going. Guys, if you're really concerned about it being woke, I'm not going to change your mind about it, but it really does not affect the movie. Those two, specifically Elliot Page and Lupita Nyong'o, do a good job in this. So if you're concerned about it, don't be, because you're going to be missing out on one of the most epic movies that I've seen in a very long time. Guys, thanks for joining me. If you're new to the channel, check out my other reactions, trailer reactions, movie reviews, out of the theater reactions. I do it all. My next review is probably going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. My next reaction is probably going to be Spider-Man Brand New Day, so go check it out. Subscribe if you'd like. Thanks for joining me. I'll check you out later. Peace.